Hi everyone, it's Isabella here and welcome back to another episode of Angel Talk and kicking off season 2. So, you guys can tell by the thumbnail, title, and everything, we're actually going to be covering a topic that I'm so excited about. So, this topic is going to essentially be doing some de-influencing and having some real conversations about, partially about overconsumption and partially about individualism. So, we're kicking off season 2, as I've said, and I'm so excited because I think this is episode 27, I believe, which is really cool. But I last September made this podcast because I wanted to essentially have conversations about real shit. Okay. You're not going to listen to me talk about let's manifest a fucking crazy good life. Okay. We're not doing that. I'm not going to be unrealistic with my mental health stuff. I'm not going to go overboard with like, oh yeah, if you have an aesthetically pleasing, healthy habit routine, then that's self-care, okay? We need to have real conversations that are not overly sugar-coated, trendy all the time, etc., okay? And this is one that I got caught up in. And again, a lot of these conversations that I have, either I know if people have gone through this or I personally have. And this is one that I personally have been going through, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about de-influencing. So if y'all don't know, I think by the time this episode will go up is when I am finishing up and getting very, very close to moving into a brand new place. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm beyond fortunate to do that. It's exciting. And with that, I'm doing a lot of things like, I get to decorate. This is so exciting for me because when I moved for my first time, I was like getting the fucking bare minimum of bare minimum. Like I was trying to fix this place up, all of the works, right? And so that's a lot of money, that's a lot of time, and so I remember getting like a free couch. Like I couldn't do shit, all right? So now that I have the time and the financial capacity, I could decorate, I could do all these things, and I am just over the moon excited for that, right? Like I'm able to build a set for my other channel for commentary. Like it's sick as fuck. I can't even wrap my head around it. However, as I'm getting on Amazon and I'm looking all over and I'm trying to figure out like, what do I need? What do I want? What's fun? And going all on TikTok, I start getting really overwhelmed. And then I actually kind of sat back and really thought about how I've lived my life when it comes to a lot of big things that I've done. When it comes like moving, for example, or maybe traveling, And I think it's all because I started getting too overly obsessed with what was popping off and trending with social media that I didn't actually pay attention to what I liked. And that's where we're kind of going into this conversation, okay? So for example, let's go into my apartment. So for me, for the longest time, because it was trending, I had, this is funny enough why I did this, I have fucking dead white walls. That's it, all right? Basic ass, like nothing colorful. I didn't touch anything colorful because it's like, I want modern, I want pretty. Like, that's what's trending now. That's all I focused on, right? So everything was like no color, no nothing. And it was honestly funny enough, the more that I think about it, it was so not me. And it was a perfect representation of the moment and chapter that I was in during like that time because I wasn't living truly for me. And I was simply doing what like was trending and fascinating at the time, And I kind of thought about that. I was looking through like stuff for my new home and I was like, oh shit. I've literally been like, even with some of my decor and basic things, I hopped onto it, not necessarily because I liked it, but because I liked it because it was trendy. You see what I'm saying? And so this made me think about all this other shit that I started doing. So I started going through my entire like Amazon list for like decorations and everything. And I had to like actually look through and be just real with myself and think, okay, are these things popping off on TikTok and is that why I want them? Or is it because I actually want them, Because like the whole time I'm looking for furniture and stuff, I'm over here like shitting myself. Like, fuck, is this like couch gonna look good with this? Is this gonna look like, like if I would find this in an interior design magazine? And I was so concerned about how is this gonna like look? Is this gonna be super duper aesthetically pleasing? Is this gonna be gorgeous and everything? And I was like, oh my God, Bella, you've got to knock it the fuck off because your life is not like just this magazine of perfection. And we only have one life to live. And if anything, we shouldn't just be going off of a style and like how we buy items and everything simply because it's trending. You know what I mean? Like, and now real quickly, two things can exist at the same time, okay? I want to have a realistic conversation about de-influencing, but I'm not also at the same time shitting on people who want to buy things for trends, okay? Do whatever you want to do, but I want you to have the right mind and not have so much pressure. Because for me, with this, I had a lot of pressure on myself all of a sudden because I was like, fuck, I want it to look this way and I want it to be pretty and I don't want to buy the wrong things because it's not going to look aesthetically pleasing. And oh my God, maybe I should get this really cool thing. So that way when I film a vlog and open up my drawer, it looks all pretty and organized. And then I was like, half of this shit I don't have to have. Or if anything, I was like, okay, actually, some of these things I don't want. I only wanted it because it fit the style in the now, you know? So I had to take a step back and I was like, all right, I got to look through everything I have and genuinely be like, do I want it? You know? Because I feel like for me personally, when it comes to decorations, certain things I would purchase, even clothing, for example, I would buy it because it was, like simply a trend. And I was like, oh, I'm going to essentially become an aesthetic. And I didn't actually get it because I was like, oh, ooh, pretty, you know? And I feel like with some of the aesthetic stuff, and again, it's okay with whatever you want, but I feel like for some people, we fall into the aesthetic category and we become an aesthetic because we want to look all put together and great, and we like that idea. But some of us don't fit into an aesthetic. Like our aesthetic, if anything, is buying random shit we think is pretty. Like, ooh, we like that. And it doesn't have to be completely coordinated. And like, funny enough, that's actually why I started loving the de-influencing trends or loving the videos of people that had like the random things all throughout their apartments that were so unique. And I was like, oh my God, see, like they got it, not because it was a trend. It was because they were like, oh, I think it's pretty, you know? And it honestly, me thinking about that actually changed my perspective of how I was picking out certain things for my new place. Me realizing that I've been consuming and purchasing a bunch of shit simply because it was a trend and not because I really, really deep down wanted it, kind of made me think that, oh, I think this is a part of the self-discovery thing, you know? So if you guys don't know, I've covered like finding yourself, self-discovery, and I'm going to dive into it further because it's a really important topic to me. But I've gone through a journey of like, I'm not doing what people tell me to do just because they think it's good. I'm going to do it because I think it's good. But I didn't correct that when it came to my personal style and everything else because I was so zoned into like, how do I make everything like aesthetically pleasing and pretty? And so now I feel like this de-influencing track is leading me down how to find my exact style and exactly what I love, because there's so many different types of styles and things when it comes to like everyday consumption. Like for example, if you go on TikTok, you're going to see the girlies that have all the neutrals and everything's gorgeous and pretty, right? And then you're going to see the girlies that are like maximalist and they got fucking everything under the sun and more, and it looks so cool, right? And I feel like for me, I need to just figure out my own category for everything, right? Like maybe I don't want to just be a neutral bitch all the time. Maybe I want to have more colors, which is so funny because this realization is actually what made me start adding more colorful fun to like this podcast and channel, because I was like, oh, fuck it. I need to start doing whatever. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Why not? You know, because I want my aesthetic to be what I think is pretty. And this also is kind of leading me into a conversation about purchasing and overconsumption in general and how I think TikTok is having a big old role in this, okay? So you guys know 2020 kicked off, and I swear it was the consumption from TikTok and trends shot the fuck up, okay? And I fell down the rabbit hole so hard, okay? Literally anything that was popping off or trending, all of us wanted to try it and buy it and see. And honestly, at the end of the day, maybe you can relate to this. For me, though, some of the stuff I bought, I was like, I actually don't really like this and I don't have a use for it anymore. And I ended up wasting a ton. Like I had no use or I didn't even like it. And I ended up just donating it anyways. And I wasted a shit ton of money. And so for me though, when I looked at like my purchasing, even though it was my own free will of, oh, I'm going to buy this, I wish there was more of a conversation about, oh, if you like this, that's great, but don't feel like you need to get it. You know, TikTok has taken off in a way to where I think it's trained us to obsess over aesthetically pleasing and pretty. And I think people are getting really fucking tired of that. And tired of that with like the pressures of it, right? Because I don't think we're going to get tired of looking at pretty things or things that are like quote unquote aesthetically pleasing or like perfectly lined up at a closet, or some girl's like daily vlog and she has, like the cute workouts at green smoothie, perfect hair, and the fucking hundreds of skincare bottles, okay? It's fun to see someone live like that. But for everyday people, that's not possible. But the pressure and feeling to do it, try it, and become essentially a human version of a style or aesthetic, I think it's just gone way too far. And that it's seeped into our styles, our clothing. I think it's seeped into how we purchase shit. Like, for example, I've had to like consciously be like, I don't fucking need to buy that off of TikTok. Like, I literally had to be like, I genuinely don't, like, it looks fun, but I'll watch a video on YouTube or TikTok of somebody that buys it. Like, I don't need it because someone says this is cool looking, And I'm kind of awakening up to deep influencing, right? And I feel like it's making my life easier the more that I focus on how so much shit that's pushed in front of us is not always necessary. Now, real quickly, I do want to make this super clear. Just because I want to have a conversation about like de-influencing doesn't mean that I'm shitting on people who are like content creators and influencers, because I'm one of them, okay? There's nothing wrong with promoting something, sharing something you like, having an Amazon storefront, do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. But as an everyday regular consumer, I'm hoping and encouraging for you to look at items and pick and choose what you actually want and need, instead of thinking, oh, I'm just going to go for it and like go fucking ham, okay? And I'm talking about people like myself because I've done the same thing. I've literally seen some girls like Amazon storefront and I was like, oh, she has everything I like and more, and she has this perfect aesthetic, like I should just become this, or I should replicate it. And I was like, fuck that, I need to stop, because I'm wasting money and then that trend or style or whatever it is going to die out, And again, this is connected to like apartment decor, fashion, random trending like items off of TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with fashion, for example, let's talk about that. For my style, I was like, oh my God, maybe I should really focus on like old money. That would be so cool. I would love to look like luxurious and put together. And then the more I focus on this whole old money trend on TikTok, the more I realize that the majority of girls, and no hate to them, I'm happy that they're on the air. It's cool. I'm not shit on it. But what I'm saying is, majority of the people promoting the like old money aesthetic, it's not actually old money aesthetic. It's just some kind of concept that was slowly made up and like some shit pulled from the 90s and 80s and polos and neutrals. Okay. Like, it's not that deep. And that's the thing, is it's going to fade away after a while. And same thing with, if we go back into like all the years in the past of fashion trends. I mean, shit, I'm sure some of y'all can remember like in middle school and what you would wear and like how it was so popular. And then now so many of those styles were like, ew, what the fuck, gross, right? However, there's some things I feel like, and naturally we're going to grow and change and progress and want different styles. I know for me, I've changed so much. But what I'm saying is I don't want people to keep hopping on shit time in and time out and wasting their money for just a trend if they really don't want it, I don't want the FOMO and the whole goal of becoming essentially a human aesthetic to eat your ass up. I don't, sorry, that was a weird way for me to say it. I don't want the FOMO getting you. I want you to realize that it's okay. You probably don't need half of the shit. And is it pretty? Yeah. Is it going to make your life better? Might depend. For example, if you buy all of the shit that the girl shows on TikTok from her self-care routine and you think it's going to help you, some of it might, but not all of it's like needed or necessary. Some of it is just like, kind of fun and pretty or cool looking in a video. And for me, from my journey of looking at so much and looking at fashion and how much things have changed, I've realized my style is like, I can't get into some of the same things anymore, and I just need to wear whatever I want and jump across different styles if I want, because fuck it, right? Or with my furniture and things that I want to buy for my new place, and how I don't need to just stick to like a specific aesthetic. I just need to just do it if I genuinely want it and think it's beautiful, and do exactly what deep down I want, not because a trend is showing me that that's good at the moment, you know? Or with everyday life basics down to even the shit that you post on social media. Who fucking cares, okay? And I want to get this as a huge reminder to you. Your life, again, and I've repeated myself a lot here right now, I'm sorry, but your life, you as a human being are not a living, breathing aesthetic, and you don't need to be, okay? There are some people that put so much fucking effort into having like aesthetically pleasing everything, and I applaud them for that, and maybe that's seriously what brings them so much joy. But that's a lot of effort, a lot of money, and a big chance of that trend disappearing in the next 10 years and it being a complete waste of your time, okay? So what in the fuck is my goal with all this? My goal is to get on here and, again, do some slight de-influencing, even though, of course, I'm a content creator that does this for a living. I'm trying to be realistic, okay? So when you see that TikTok that's like, oh my God, look at all the shit that I bought, you know, to rebrand. Don't fucking do that. Unless you actually genuinely want to, don't do that. When you see the videos of like, I did a glow up and look at all these cool things, unless you genuinely want to do it, don't do it. Don't feel like you need to look this way or have this perfect aesthetic. Don't do that, okay? If all of a sudden you're like, oh God, like my room is awful. I don't have good enough decor. It's not aesthetic. It's made by you. Like actually right now, hold up. Right now, sorry, I gotta stretch and adjust, okay? Right now I want you to look around if you're in your house, okay? Your room or whatever it is, look around it. All of these items are connected to you. They're not a fucking aesthetic because you're not an aesthetic. You're a human being. Okay, I can look around my room right now, right? On my depression meds over there. I have these flowers I picked for myself. Some of my first flowers I bought for myself when I actively chose that I was going to do everything I could to be the happiest version of me. I have just a vase that I decided to spray paint. I got this because I just thought it was cute, right? I have some old books that I bought because I really like vintage shit. I thought that was cool as hell. I have papers laying around. I got a hair clip right over here. Like all these things in my room. It's not fit in a very specific aesthetic by any means, no. But it's me, you know? And I think that counts far more than anything, than any aesthetic or any trend for that matter. And even with your clothing, I know some of you might sit there with your clothing and be like, oh God, but like these girls look so perfect and put together and they have all these matching shoes and perfect basics and sets. And like, I have these graphic tees and maybe I have a stained white shirt. Who gives a fuck? That's you. That is you. That stain came from you. And I know that sounds so silly, but it came from you. That's a representation of you and what gets you excited. Ooh, I like that. This is me, you know? Now, of course, there's going to be some of us that are like, well, I want to change my style and improve, and that's fine. But don't shit on what you have right now or shit on your vibe or what you have going on because that's you and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Or how, for example, how you post on Instagram. Okay? And if this is so funny because I'm all about branding and everything, but I feel like I'm starting to let some of it go with some of my everyday, like, basic content because I don't fucking care. And I want to be real. Like, I want to be real over aesthetic. I think aesthetic and reality can coexist. And with Instagram and social, you don't have to have fucking perfect fonts. Okay? You don't have to have completely perfect, aesthetically pleasing, what is it, filters, presets, all that shit. No, you don't need to. Just post just fun, just for funsies. Be in the now, live. Because again, at the end of the day, I will live by this saying forever. You have one life, and the last thing you want to do is live that life according to what all these other people think is cool, okay? And logically speaking, when it comes to some of these trends and these popular things, it's just another being just like you that likes something. And then it got traction and got popular. Like, logically fucking speaking. Like, for me, if something's popping off and doing well, I'm another random ass regular goofy fuck on the internet, okay? I talk about something that I like and it does well. Cool beans. Like, I'm another regular person and got caught up in the algorithm and perform well. Now, some people, a lot of content creators will really bust their ass to get their shit in the algorithm. But what I'm saying is they're another everyday person and their opinions and perspectives are not automatically far better than yours because they have like a follower account or they have something like aesthetically pleasing. Okay? So the next time you see one of those TikToks and you're like, oh God, I want to buy it, and you want to immediately buy all this shit and consume, take a second and take a breather and think about this episode, okay? Think about this and think about, do you really want it? Do you really think it's a good idea? Or are you good just as is and it's just a trend right now, you know? And if you really want it, good for you. More power to you. Get it. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. But I don't want your life having so much pressure to look a certain way, fit a certain way, and everything. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're all on a floating rock. We all have our own individual personalities and functions and characteristics. And if we all start looking like Bethany that has the aesthetically pleasing shit, we're not going to look fucking different or unique in any way, okay? And again, not hating on Bethany. We love Bethany. We love her. But what I'm saying is, be you. Do exactly whatever you think is cool and what you like, you know? And also this goes for not even just materialistic stuff, advice. Holy fuck. The amount of people that I've seen give advice of like, you need to rebrand every several months. Get fucked. No, you don't need to rebrand. You're not an app that needs to be updated. You're a human being. You don't need to rebrand. Oh, well, you need to keep growing your fucking mindset. Calm down. You don't need to. Keep existing and power through with the chapter that you have at this time. Taking care of yourself and going back to basics is good. Speaking of basics, oh, well, I need to find all these super duper intricate ways of doing self-care. Again, get fucked. No, you don't. Go back to the basics. Self-care is making sure you're good, taking care of yourself. You don't eat a green smoothie and a perfect workout routine to have a good amount of self-care. It's varying. And social media can be super lit. I literally am on social media for a living and I love it. I love my job. But there's also a problematic side to social media. It's been really irking me because it's been fucking with y'all and I don't like that. I don't like how it's made you guys feel like you have this pressure on you to act a certain way, do this and hop on all these. It's exhausting, okay? And my kind of big last thing that I want to say is when you think about all these trends and all these things and all these items, when is enough, okay? When is enough? Because when it's kind of the same thing that I've talked about before with the like self-help and development industry, right? If we keep trying to find a new problem to solve within us, we're never going to be good enough. We're always going to be searching for that next problem within us. And there's parts of the self-help and development world that's wonderful. It's great. I create content like that, but I want to keep it realistic. But there's some people that take it so far and they find a new problem to pinpoint at you to make you feel insecure. And you think, oh, fuck, I have a new thing I need to look at and figure out and get better at. When is enough? Same thing with items or trends. There's going to be a new one in the next 6 months. There's going to be a new trend of clothing in the next 5 months. Again, Y2K shit came back finally and like popped off really good. Cottagecore popped up. You see all these trends out here? Who gives a fuck? Do not kill yourself working to keep up with a machine of consuming stuff constantly that you don't even know if you like. You're just doing it because someone else is saying, yeah, that's a good idea. Now, again, influencer stuff is cool. I love giving people recommendations and honesty and telling them what works for me. But it might work for me. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So when I have something on my Amazon storefront that I like, if someone asks about it, sure. But don't feel like if you don't feel like you need it, don't get it. Like dead ass, don't get it. Don't get it. For example, if I'm sponsored by somebody, I'm going to talk about it because if I really like something, I want to share it and it might be helpful to you guys. But if you dead ass don't feel like you need it, don't buy. Like don't do it at all. Do not feel like you have to. Don't feel like you have to keep on hopping on trends. It's exhausting. You're not a trend. You're not an aesthetic. You're a fucking human being. Okay? So buy the cute shit that is not quote unquote aesthetically pleasing, but you like it. Good. Do that. Turn off some of these stupid ass fucking toxic self-development shit of like, you need to rebrand, you need to get out of your feminine energy and, get into your masculine or get out of your masculine, get fucked. Fuck all of those people. I'm sorry, but it's exhausting. We need to get rid of this stupid shit of you need to do this and do this and this. You're never good enough according to these people's standards, okay? It's not normal. Do whatever you want, okay? Don't feel pressured. If you want something, do it because you want to, not because someone's telling you that you need it or it's transformative. Might be. And also, when you're buying shit, remember return policies because if you do accidentally impulsive and buy, you can return it. And, don't have horrible buyer's remorse and not be able to get, return it back, okay? So, that was my good old long 2 cents about de-influencing trends and how some of this shit is getting a little too excessive, okay? Do whatever you want. Doesn't have to fit a perfect aesthetic. It doesn't have to fit a perfect aesthetic. Again, as I've said for the billionth time, you are a human being. You're a human being with thoughts, feelings, emotions, unique characteristic, a fun-ass personality, all those good things, okay? You are an individual human being, and certain things are going to get you excited and not. And I don't really give a fuck if it doesn't fit into an aesthetic that's trending on TikTok right now. If you like it, you like it. And there is no shame with that. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's perfectly fine with that too. So that was it for my little pep talk with y'all. I hope you have a good day, and I'm glad that we could get started on season 2 of Angel Talk. I hope you guys can stay with me on this journey because that'd be super fun. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Maybe talk about a trend that you hopped on and you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't really like that, you know? And I would love if you could leave a 5-star review on the channel, on the podcast. That would be so great if you're listening. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.